It's December 6th, 2015 on this Sunday edition. And we're about to give you live analysis and coverage of CNN propaganda and the so-called President Barack Husein Obama speaking about the radical Islamic invasion that's been launched in Europe and the United States and the caliphate Wahhabists funded out of Saudi Arabia that have been turned loose against Libya, our allies, of course, in countries like Egypt and now in Syria. We have the Turkish president threatening to blow up Russian ships today and invading with troops into Iraq and saying, we'll come in with fighter jets anytime we want, and if you fight us, we'll start World War III with Russia. That's the type of crazy stuff going on right now because NATO is telling basically Erdogan what to do. Now, we're minutes away. Here we are with Wolf Blitzer and all the rest of these people that literally normally have about 500,000 viewers right now. We did Facebook mentions today, 900,000 viewers. Another one with 300,000 viewers. Another one with 1 million viewers last week. The point is, this isn't the media. The media is just me with my friends and my family here for a Christmas party. They're in the room next to me decorating the Christmas tree. We're in here as real people about to analyze this garbage. Now, he's going to bombard, though. He doesn't normally have a big audience. His YouTube videos get like 5,000 views now. Our average one gets like 500,000. They are now going to commandeer TV, radio, football, NFL, sitcoms, dramas, every major channel with whatever he's going to say. And they admit it's gun control. And he's going to keep us safe from the terrorists that they've turned loose in Syria to kill hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people. This is ridiculous. And I'm challenging you to just put out your own YouTube videos, your own Facebook videos, your own comments, your own articles about what you hear him say. How dare him blame our Second Amendment that our country was founded on when the British came to confiscate the guns at Lexington and Concord in 1775 in Boston. How dare them blame our Second Amendment? How dare them blame us when this woman had a fake name, fake passport, fake everything. She led the attacks, this Malik lady, and they let her in. Just like last week, they let 140-something people in on one plane with no passports just so they can come in. They're about to go live with the president's speech right here. Here we have Wolf Blitzer breaking it all down for everybody. And they are, again, about to go to the White House where the president is going to have his Oval Office address.
We begin with the breaking news. President Obama's Oval Office address to the nation on terror.
On terror that they've turned loose on Syria and 300,000 Christians and non-radical Muslims. They did this.
Here's a live look at the White House right now where President Obama will speak at any moment.
In Europe.
Addressing the nation from behind a lectern set up inside.
In Europe, they beta tested this whole deal and declared civil emergency martial law after the Paris attacks. We've had the Fort Hood attacks, the recruiting center attacks, and they won't call it terrorism, ladies and gentlemen, just like for 2 days. They wouldn't call this terrorism. They want to blame our guns for this woman from Saudi Arabia where women don't even have rights to go outside their houses and are slaves. And she wants to come over here and literally piss all over all the true liberalism and all the freedom. Look at these people. This is who they're importing. They have failed in Syria, so now they're allowing their jihadists, most of these are military-age men, to pour into Europe and the United States. And now when they blow everything up and start killing everybody, they're just going to cover it up and say it's the Second Amendment's fault. The president will be speaking for the 4th time ever from the Oval Office to promise to fight radical Islam that he's quarterbacking. Here he is. Here he is.
Good evening. On Wednesday, 14 Americans were killed as they came together to celebrate the holidays.
Christmas.
They were taken from family and friends who loved them deeply. They were white and black.
They were executed
immigrants
for being Jewish and Christian.
Moms and dads, daughters and sons.
All lies.
Each of them served their fellow citizens. All of them were part of our American family. Tonight I want to talk with you about this tragedy, the broader threat of terrorism,
and blaming the Second Amendment.
How we can keep our country safe.
Not taking your guns away so more jihadists can kill
the
you.
The FBI is still gathering the facts about what happened in San Bernardino.
Admitted terrorists,
what we know.
Pledge allegiance to ISIS.
The victims were brutally murdered and injured by one of their co-workers and his wife. So far, we have no evidence that the killers were directed by a terrorist organization overseas.
ISIS has said that they work with them.
Of a broader conspiracy here at home.
That's right. There's no ISIS, like you said last week.
It is clear that the two of them had gone down the dark path of radicalization. embracing a perverted interpretation of Islam that calls for war against America and the West.
The Saudi Arabia funds.
It stockpiled assault weapons,
That you about to.
ammunition.
Oh, guns are
and
bad.
firearms.
Oh, I see.
So this was an act of terrorism designed to kill innocent people. Our nation has been at war with terrorists since Al-Qaeda killed nearly 3,000 Americans on 9/11.
And now under a new name, they're 10
In the
times bigger.
process, we've hardened our defenses.
Taking
from
your
airports
rights.
to financial centers to other critical
They've taken our freedoms, but left the jihadis alone.
intelligence and law enforcement agencies.
And we
have
attacked
disrupted
Iraq. It had nothing to do with
plots
it.
Here and overseas.
We should apologize to Iraq.
Clock to keep us safe.
Said Saudi Arabia did it.
Our military
28 pages.
and counterterrorism professionals have relentlessly pursued terrorist networks overseas,
And have been blocked by you.
disrupting safe havens in several different countries,
Oh, like Syria?
killing Osama bin Laden, and decimating Al-Qaeda's leadership.
That's been proven to be fake.
Over the last few years, however, the terrorist threat has evolved into a new phase.
So we got to take your guns.
As we've become better at preventing complex, multifaceted attacks like 9/11, terrorists turn to less complicated acts of violence like the mass shootings that are all too common in our society.
That are by leftists at TV studios
This type
and
of attack
leftist
was
cross-dressers,
Fort Hood in 2009, in Chattanooga earlier this year,
which was terrorist, and you said it wasn't.
in San Bernardino. And as groups like ISIL grew stronger amidst the chaos of war in Iraq,
And as our border was opened up, as Southcom
and
reported,
as the internet erases the distance between countries, we see growing efforts by terrorists
you allowed them to recruit here.
poison the minds of people like
So now he wants
Boston
cybersecurity to
marathon
restrict our
bombers
free speech.
and the San Bernardino killers.
This is live analysis of Obama's
For 7
BS.
years, I've confronted this evolving threat.
He should show folks his Islamic radical ring on his finger. The Wahhabist ring.
And since the day
Oh, where's
I
the
took
ring?
this
Let's see.
office,
Oh, there's not giving us a
I've
shot.
authorized U.S. forces to take
Not
out
giving us a
terrorists
shot.
abroad precisely because I know how real the danger is.
Run his
As
lying mouth.
Commander-in-Chief, I have no
Run
greater
his lying mouth.
responsibility than the security of the American people.
Oh, yeah.
As a father to 2 young daughters who are the most precious part of my life,
Who have radical Islamic names.
I know that we see ourselves with friends and co-workers at a holiday party like the one in San Bernardino.
Holiday. You got rid of Christmas.
I know we see our kids in the faces of the young people killed in
Your kids
Paris.
have armed guards, you bastard.
And I know that after so much war, many Americans are asking whether we are confronted by a cancer that has no immediate cure.
Name Barack Obama.
Well, here's what I want you to know. The threat from terrorism is real.
Oh, he told us last week
We
it
will
wasn't.
overcome it.
About taking your rights
We
away.
will destroy ISIL.
We will take your
and
guns.
Another organization that tries to harm us.
That you're running against Libya and Syria.
Our success won't depend on tough talk or abandoning our
Iraq's on
values
record saying
or
that
giving
he
in to
runs
fear.
So is Turkey.
what groups like
It's been
ISIL are
exposed.
hoping
The
for.
Russians have exposed it all. Liar.
Instead, we
Liar.
will prevail by being strong and smart,
Lie. Lie.
resilient,
Lie.
and relentless, and by drawing upon
We are
every
relentless.
aspect of American power.
American power, you want to destroy our power.
First, our military will continue to hunt down terrorist plotters in any country where it is
You mean
necessary.
Assad you're overthrowing?
In Iraq and Syria, airstrikes are taking out ISIL leaders, heavy weapons, oil tankers, infrastructure. And since the attacks in Paris, our closest allies, including France, Germany, and the United Kingdom,
You mean the workplace
have
violence?
ramped up their contributions to our military campaign, which will help us accelerate our efforts
To invade Syria and overthrow Assad as Turkey invaded Iraq today under your orders.
We will continue to provide training and equipment to Syrian forces fighting ISIL on the ground so that we take away their safe havens.
Oh, that you helped set up for
We're
them
deploying special operations forces who can accelerate
to be
down-
human shields for the Al-Qaeda forces.
We've stepped up this effort since the attacks in Paris and will continue to invest more in approaches that are working on the ground. Third, we're working with friends and allies to stop ISIL's operations, to disrupt plots, cut off their financing, and prevent them from recruiting more fighters. Since the attacks in Paris, we've surged intelligence sharing with our European allies. We're working with Turkey to seal its border with Syria. And we are cooperating with Muslim-majority countries and with our Muslim communities here at home
Oh, really?
to counter the vicious ideology that ISIL promotes online.
That Saudi Arabia funds?
Fourth, with American leadership, the international community has begun to establish a process and timeline to pursue ceasefires and a political resolution to the Syrian war. Doing so will allow the Syrian people and every country
That means confusing you to blame Assad, who they attacked with Al-Qaeda, to
to
fall.
focus on the common goal of destroying ISIL,
You mean blow up the
a
Russians
group that threatens us all.
that you fund?
This is our strategy to destroy ISIL.
The Attorney General said he'd be
It is
anti-gun.
designed
That's
and
coming.
supported by our military
He's
commanders
connecting the
and
war on terror to our guns now.
experts.
Get ready.
Together with 65
Homeland Security
countries
is the
that joined
domestic gun
American
confiscation
coalition.
arm.
And we constantly examine our strategy to determine when additional steps are needed.
And you say the Patriots are the #1 enemy.
That's why I've ordered the Departments of State and Homeland Security to review the visa waiver program under which the female terrorist in San Bernardino originally came to this country.
Josh points out that they
And
blow
that's
up the
why
Middle Eastern
I
countries,
urge
then let the
high-tech
radicals
law
in.
enforcement leaders to make it harder for terrorists to use technology to escape from justice.
That's why you let them in with fake passports?
Now,
That's what the Border Patrol
home.
says you complete the smuggling
we
process?
have to work together
All
to
lies.
address the challenge.
He thinks you're stupid.
There are several steps that Congress should take right away.
Here you go.
To begin with, Congress should act to make sure no one on a no-fly list is able to buy a gun.
There it is. They can put anybody on that list,
What
folks.
could possibly be the argument?
Extrajudicial,
for allowing a terrorist
the end of
suspect
courts,
to buy a semi-automatic
letting you
weapon?
ban anybody you want from buying a
It's a
gun.
matter of national security.
That's Ron Emanuel's plan.
We
National
also
security
need to
puts you on a
target
list and you
people who buy
disappear.
powerful assault
If they can keep you from
weapons
flying,
like the
keep you
ones
from having a
used
gun,
in San Bernardino.
no court, no conviction.
there are some who
You can't
reject
find out
any
why
gun
you can't
safety
get a gun.
measures.
You're on a
The
no-buy
fact is
gun
that our
list. It's a
intelligence
no-gun
and
buy
law
list.
enforcement agencies.
You can't
matter
find
how
out. This is
effective
so
they are,
huge.
cannot
Look at me. Who could possibly be against us, these criminals that run ISIS, randomly putting you on a no-gun buy list? Who could possibly be against us with 72 members of Homeland Security on the no-fly list?
Next, we should put in place stronger screening for those who come to America without a visa.
Oh, you're the one that let
So
them
that
in.
we can take a hard look at whether they've traveled to war zones. And we're working with members of
Where
both
you're
parties
training
in
Al-Qaeda
Congress
forces.
to do exactly
Can
that.
you believe? Hold on a minute.
Finally, if Congress believes, as I do,
Oh, go
that
back
we
to
are at war with ISIL, it should go ahead and vote to authorize the continued use of military force against these
To
terrorists.
blow up Syria.
For over a year, I have ordered our military to take thousands of airstrikes against ISIL targets. I think it's time for Congress to vote to demonstrate that the American people are united and committed to this fight.
That means invade Syria and take them out for ISIS.
My fellow Americans, these are the steps that we can take together
God, I couldn't
to
even
defeat
speak.
the terrorist.
I couldn't even speak when he just said, who could be against us putting you on a no-gun buy list with no record?
We should not be drawn once more into a long and costly ground war in Iraq or Syria. That's what groups like ISIL want. They know they can't defeat us on the battlefield. ISIL fighters were part of the insurgency that we faced in Iraq.
God, they actually trained him. Our government trained him on record.
Occupied foreign lands.
He's got the nerve
They
to sit
can
up here.
maintain insurgencies for years, killing thousands of our troops, draining our resources, and using our presence to draw new recruits. The strategy that we are using now, airstrikes, special
They
forces,
began the overthrow
and
of
working with
Syria.
local forces,
They brought these
who are
people
fighting
in
to
on
regain
record.
control of their own country.
General Flynn and others are on
That
record.
is how we'll achieve a more sustainable victory.
God, you're a liar.
And it won't require us sending a new generation of Americans overseas to fight and die
This is
for
actually
another
the
decade
takeover of America.
on foreign soil.
We're actually seeing the takeover. This is worse than
Here's what
thought.
else we cannot do. We cannot turn against one another by letting this fight be defined as a war between America and Islam.
That's right. Keep the borders open. Bring in the
That,
radical
too, is
Sunnis.
what groups like ISIL want. ISIL does not speak for Islam. They're thugs. And
They speak for
killers.
Saudi Arabia, the #1 group that runs Islam, radical Islam.
And they account for a tiny fraction
No,
of the
Sunni
millions
79%, and they run it.
Muslims around the world.
You goddamn
including
liar.
millions of patriotic Muslim Americans who reject their hateful ideology.
Yeah, there are a lot of good Muslims, and they're going to apostate. They don't follow
The
radical
vast
garbage.
majority of terrorist victims around the world are Muslim.
That's true.
If we're
And
to succeed
you
in
funded them to go
terror,
kill them. You funded ISIS to go kill the innocent Muslims and the
Our
Christians.
strongest allies, rather than push them away through suspicion and hate.
Everyone should start doing
That does
videos
not
like
mean
this.
denying the fact
Where we
that
all get in their damn
extremist
face on
ideology
them.
has spread within some Muslim communities. There's a real problem that Muslims must confront without excuse.
Only thing you said true today was that Muslims
leaders
need to
here
cry.
and around the globe.
Oh, wow, a little bit
have to
of truth.
Continue working with us to decisively and unequivocally reject the hateful ideology that groups like ISIL and Al-Qaeda promote.
You're a member of.
To speak out against not just
Barack
acts of violence, but also
Hussein
those interpretations
Obama.
of Islam that
Barack
are incompatible with the
Hussein
values of
Obama.
religious tolerance, mutual respect, and human dignity.
President Hussein said,
But just as it is the responsibility of Muslims around the world to root out misguided ideas,
it's our responsibility to let them kill us and turn our guns in.
It's the responsibility of all Americans,
to be guilty little bastards,
every faith, to reject discrimination. It is our responsibility to reject.
It is our religion
tests
to give in to being destroyed
to this country.
And ban Christmas and not let Christian refugees in. They don't let any Christian refugees in. Any. Or Shiite. He only lets Sunnis in. He's a goddamn liar.
That kind of divisiveness, that betrayal of our values, plays into the hands.
Our values, you piss all over our values.
Muslim Americans are our friends and our neighbors, our co-workers.
Those are the non-radicals you haven't been able to kill yet.
And yes, they are our men and women in uniform who are willing to die
like Major Hassan
for the defense of our country. We have to remember that. My fellow Americans, I am confident.
My fellow Americans, I promise you free health care. You have a business, you didn't build it. 2 + 2 = 5. I'm not coming after your guns.
On a belief in human dignity.
Infowars.com is
no matter who you are, or where you come from, or what you look like, or what religion you practice, you are equal in the eyes of God and equal in the eyes of the law. Even in this political season, even as we properly debate what steps I and future presidents must take to keep our country safe.
Let us have our guns to protect ourselves, you son of a bitch.
Never forget what makes us exceptional.
That we had guns and freedom, you bastard, and private property, you lying piece of shit.
That we have always met challenges, whether war or depression.
All you people in the CIA and the government, why are you following this traitor? Look at our top generals exposing him for running Al-Qaeda. We are exposing you. You'll never stop us, traitors.
And one people.
Goddamn liar.
So long as we stay true to that tradition, I have no doubt that America will prevail.
Yeah.
Thank you.
His job.
God bless you.
Is to bring America down.
God bless the United States.
He only does that at certain times to defend his radical Islam garbage.
That's it. The President of the United States is...
That's it. The President of the United States. I'm going to settle down here. But let me tell you what the big takeaway enchilada here is.
The President was very passionate.
I'm going to tell you, it's weird. You got to aim it right at the deal. You think, see? That's what I mean. I'm going to turn this down.
There are two things that struck me. One...
Let me tell you what strikes me. Let me tell you right now, folks, what is... Let's go over here. Let me tell everybody what is mega ultra massive here, okay? Are you ready to hear what's mega ultra massive here on this December 6th? Rahm Emanuel, the former chief of staff, I played the clips down on the radio, said to Brady campaign, the gun grabbers, the ones that want to disarm us, he said, there are 2 million people on a no-fly list. If you're on a no-fly list, you're not going to be able to own a gun. They admit almost everyone on there is totally innocent. None of them are from the Middle East, literally. They put congressmen and women on it. They put 72 members of Homeland Security on it. My dad's been on it because his name is common, David Jones. And they say that if we put you on a list, no judge, no jury, no due process, you can't get a gun, and we're not going to say why you can't get a gun. And then the criminals will just go out and rob somebody for a gun or get it from criminals on the street. They know that. They're not trying to keep you safe. They have bodyguards. They know full well that guns keep you safe. They know full well what's going on. So this is, he's like, who could be against us stopping terrorists from buying guns? That's not what we're saying here. Who could stop people that are on a no-fly list from getting guns? It's so simple. Yeah, to end due process, to end due process, to end due process in the courts in America and let secret shadowy groups at Homeland Security, as he said, declare you can't own a gun, and to end private sale of guns, which is gun registration. This guy bought his guns legally through the system. So they're blaming the Second Amendment when they're the ones that have brought these people here. And then they sit there calmly saying, we're going to put you on a no-gun buy list. Some shadowy group can't find out how you get on the list, where it came from, any of this. It is simply incredible. And I got really mad during that because I do this at home, and I'm even more real in person, and I apologize for some of the profanity. But, man, to watch a president sit up there and open our borders, complete the smuggling process, bring the jihadis in, and then come after our guns, and then want to be able to just arrest people without warrants. He signed the NDAA. Disappear Americans. That's what this is about. Europe has put martial law in after the radical Muslims they paid to bring in, they advertised to bring in, they gave the freebies to bring them in, 4 million of them, and now they're saying Christmas celebrations are banned, and they're allowed to rape whoever they want. I mean, this is literally happening. Now, I don't blame the Muslims themselves, or even the radical Muslims themselves. These are the people opening the gate to let the mad dogs in. I'll be, Lord willing, tomorrow, 11 a.m. Central, on the big 4-hour weekday radio show, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., 3 p.m. now, Central. Infowars.com/show to find the free video feeds and more. We got our reporters out in California and San Bernardino reporting on what's happening. I'm going to go in here now and engage in the evil practice of decorating the tree with my family. But I tell you, this is really a crazy time to be alive right now. And it makes me sick to realize we've got to this point and that he could sit there and just calmly go, who could be against the common sense action of people on no-fly lists can't have guns? Well, who could be against the uncommon sense of having a no-fly list where you've done nothing wrong and aren't a suspect in this criminal shadow government that runs ISIS and lets them sell their oil and has committed all these crimes just to put you on a list? They admit Homeland Security is for gun owners, veterans, returning veterans, conservatives, libertarians. This is for us, folks. And Buckley, come on over here. I want you to talk.
The actual absolute fallacy of what he said, think about this. The absolute actual fallacy of what he just said is that those two people that went in there and shot up that Christmas party, were they on a no-fly list? No, they both flew back into the country.
She had a fake name and a fake passport.
Exactly.
And was allowed to do whatever she wanted.
So the insanity of saying, hey, because this happened, we're going to put people on these no-fly lists and they can't have guns.
They do that on purpose. They're letting them in.
The cognitive dissonance is completely and utterly untenable. I mean, I can't believe that anybody can.
And they just sit up here, all these intelligence operatives. He's Mossad, CIA, Anderson Cooper. I mean, literally, look up Wolf Blitzer. These guys sit up here and just play along with all this bull like it's normal.
Oh, it makes me sick. It really does. I mean,
Obama, who could be against us just disappearing you and taking your rights?
And especially, you know, it seems, I see a lot of this sentiment in the left where they say that, you know, they always decry people that are conservatives for using the, quote, tragedies for their own means. Well, that's exactly what this is.
Yeah, and we're not conservative or liberal. We're patriots. We just want freedom.
What a horrific tragedy, and all of a sudden here they are saying, because these people weren't on this no-fly list, we're not going to let anybody that we put on that list.
We must make it harder for extremists to kill. They got the guns through this California system, which is what they want nationwide. You can't stop somebody from using a car or using an axe or using a knife. They've had jihad attacks all week in Europe again with knives and stuff. It's coming. They're bringing in uncompatible, radical Wahhabists by the millions. They know they're going to attack, and when they do, they're going to put armored vehicles on the street, declare civil emergency like Europe's done, and take our guns. I'm going to go spend time with my family, folks. It is just crazy to see a bizarro president named Barack Husein Obama bringing Wahhabists in that failed to take over to Syria, and they're murdering everybody, and he's up here telling us it's our damn guns that are at fault, and that we should just let the government secretly arrest whoever they want and take our guns. I mean, it's crazy. You're living in a movie, folks. This is over the top. I'll see you on the radio tomorrow, 11 a.m., Infowars.com/show. If you're watching this transmission, spread this video to everybody because we're kicking their ass. Our average video is getting 500,000 views now. Just on Facebook mentions. We get millions every day on YouTube, millions of listeners on the radio. We're exploding, and it shows the sleeping giants waking up, and all the attempts to censor us are failing.